All right, so for our first training in EQ, we're going to listen and look at the low sub and bass frequencies. So the scenario here is we've got a track loaded, a song, a mix, and on that track we have a graphic EQ. Any graphic EQ will work. You can do this in any DAW and practice this. So I've just loaded the Vintage EQ graphic EQ. And the reason is it gives you a very specific group of bands. So it kind of limits your focus so that you can focus in on certain frequencies. Okay. Below that, I've put in a meter. I just go down to metering and multimeter, and that's going to give me a frequency readout of the track. And you can use any meter for that as well. Okay, so today we're going to just look at the sub and the bass frequencies. So we're going to look at the sub 31 and 63 hertz, and then the bass frequencies of 125 and 250 hertz. So what I'll do is I'll play the track, and I will boost and cut. I will boost and cut the sub and the bass frequencies. You're going to see it in the analyzer, and you'll be able to hear it. Now, as I boost and cut 31, you may not hear it unless you're listening on really good headphones or speakers, and you might want to turn up the volume a little so you can really hear this. Okay, so when I boosted it, what's interesting is the 31 also affects the octave. So 63 is affected as well, and the low end feels more full and punchy. But when you cut it, a lot of the low end goes away. So all that sub frequency starts to lose energy when you cut that, and you can kind of feel it a little bit if you turn it up. So let's do that one more time. There you go. So you can see it boosting and cutting and coming back to normal in the analyzer, but you can really kind of feel that frequency. Now let's look at the other sub frequency, which is 63. Okay, so 63 is really important. Listen to the kick drum and the bass specifically when I boost and cut 63 this time. Okay, so kick drums and low sub frequencies of the bass down there in 63. Let's look at 125 now. So now we're moving out of the sub range and into the bass range, 125.
And who knows which is which? And who is who?
Okay, so again, the bass and the kick are affected, but so is the snare, and so is the fullness of the vocal. Listen to the vocal get a little bit muddy in the low frequency when I boost it, and then a little thin when I cut it. And also listen for the upper part of that kick drum.
And down.
There you go. Now let's listen to 250, the top of the bass range.
Haven't you heard? It's a battle of words. The post of error right. Listen, son, said the man with.
So you can hear without that 250, everything gets really thin. With too much 250, everything gets a little kind of papery or boxy or whatever you want to call it. So there's kind of a fine balance in there. So let's listen to some of the upper parts of the guitars now. And this 250 will affect the fullness or the overall tonality of the guitars and the vocals.
With the gun, there's room for you inside.
And then real quick, listen to the piano here, what 250 does to the piano. Okay, so there's the sub and bass frequencies. You can set this up and practice it on your own as well and start to listen for these frequencies in a mix.